All right, so every year, well, me and my father, we go on vacation to Flaming Gorge. Well, we camp on the Wyoming side. Now, if anybody's ever actually been up there, they realize that there's absolutely no shade whatsoever. And so, from the last time we went camping up there, we were all huddled underneath the hatch of my Durango, and I had a thought. I was thinking about buying a little pop-up tent trailer to take up there, but seeing as people always want like $5 billion for them, I was looking at them for sale, and I seen one with a destroyed awning, which was something that I thought was kind of stupid on a tent trailer anyway. Then I had a thought. Why don't I make an awning for my Durango so we can stand under that? So I decided before I went to go spend not very much money, I should probably get some measurements to find out what I'm working with. So obviously one of the biggest things that I needed was I needed a tarp, and so I ended up at the Harbor Freight. And then as for the rest of the stuff that I needed, I ended up going over to Home Depot because, well, Lowe's sucks. Alright, so after I got back from the Home Depot and Harbor Freight, I had picked up this half-inch electrical conduiting galvanized steel tube and this 2-inch piece of PVC pipe. I have some fittings for it. I got a cap on one end and another cap with a screw and thread on the other side, and the reason that I'm going to do that is so when I cut these down, they'll fit inside this piece of tubing right here, which I'll show you in a little while, because I just really don't want the uprights inside of my car, and I don't have anything that goes lengthwise with the car to actually mount the tarp to, which is 7-foot 4-inch by 9-foot 6-inch tarp. I actually got another smaller one just in case. That was only $5. It was the reason I decided to waste $3 of gas to drive out to Harbor Freight. But another thing that I got to, because it's kind of important, is, you know, a lot of people think that you could take something like these tubes and destroy your drywall with them. But you could take that and whatever length you decide you want to cut it at, you could sit and you could pound it into the ground. And the reality is, I mean, this is kind of sturdy, but the odds are you're going to be trying to pound it into like rock hard dirt or rocks or tree roots or something. And so I grabbed some of these tent stakes from Harbor Freight. They're like $3-4. And I'm thinking that when I get the whole thing pulled up, I could pound one of these into the ground, since I also need these for pulling it tight anyway. So I grabbed a bag of, how many are in here? 6. I'm probably not even going to use the other 2. Might. I don't know. Let's just go after this goes up. It's part of DIY. It's troubleshooting. I was thinking, you know, after you get the tubes about where you want, get it all pulled up, get everything tight all tight, you can pound the little stake in there, and they slide right into the ends of those. Now, this might not work, but I got a little thing of bungee cords to attach the PVC pipe to the roof of my car. And funny thing is that everything that I bought, the fucking glue was the most expensive, and they come with a little brush in the can. I'll show you how to glue a PVC together properly, actually. But I got a tarp, got bungee cords. You may realize that, hey, I don't have any rope for this. But since I have done like these little survival and outdoors videos, I got a thing of paracord. I think you can pick these up for like $3, $4, sometimes like $6. It's everything that I've set down just falls on the floor at Walmart. And so let's get to cutting the pipe, since, well, I know my measurements, 6 to 7'4" on the side that I want, the skinny end of the big tarp. I'm going to cut the pipe at probably about 7 foot 8 inches, maybe 7 foot 10. Anyhow, let's get on with that. Well, I hope this works with the wind blowing and all the construction, freeway, airplane, helicopter, dogs barking, kids screaming. Yeah, I guess all the kids are at school now. But I'm going to measure the piece of PVC pipe. I'm going to cut it at 7 foot 10, and then I'm going to go ham on it. If I get the freaking tape measure on the end of it, because left can suck. Hey, look at that, 7 foot 10. I guess it could be an ish, because, well, this isn't exactly rocket science. It's probably not the final measurement. And make a mark poorly, because I've got a fucking pen that doesn't write. And this is where the fucks and shits come involved. Now, I'm cutting this with a Sawzall, and you may not have access to a Sawzall, and if you don't, a hacksaw will work for this, because, well, I got to cut through metal and I got to cut through freaking PVC. So let's go ahead and start. Stupid safety. Now, see, this isn't the easiest damn thing on the planet when I don't have anything to hold it with, and I'm trying to film at the same time, so. Okay, so that's cut. I might have to cut that down, and that's the reason why I'm going to put the one cap on and not the other one on the other side, because I'm going to use this in the way that it sits, and then I'm going to test it out after, and hopefully my perfectly good little foam ball thing on my camera works quite well, because I cannot see the viewfinder. I don't even know if I got that on camera. Anyhow, let's get on to cutting steel. Alright, I figured probably measuring those was the boring bit of the video. Cutting these about 6'2", so I'm going to be cutting about 3 foot 10 inches off these pieces of pipe. Stick that in my armpit or something. You know, because I have a vise inside, but I couldn't set the camera up because I didn't have enough fucking room. So, this is fun. So I'm cutting the pieces of pipe right here. Since my car's only about 5'11", I'm still going to cut the pieces of pipe at about 6'2". They don't have to be exact, but, you know, let's get on with cutting it. Oh, fuck you. As you can tell, when you're doing this by yourself, it can be a pain in the ass, so maybe enlist some help. Thanks, Wind. I'm not going to film you cut the next one. You get the point. Alright, since I said I was going to put this on here so I could put my conduit tubing in here, I want to put a cap on the end of this. Now, I'm not going to put the other cap on, which the other cap is actually going to be one of these female and freaking threaded pipe things with obviously a screw-in cap. That's going to be nice. Anyhow, I figured I want to show you the proper way of doing it. Now, since even though this isn't necessary, I could literally just slap this together with fucking super glue. I'm going to use some of this purple primer stuff, which is pretty simple. If you can get past the fact that it has spider webs on it. Sorry, I'm not used to this kind of filming. But no, you just take it and get some of that purple primer with the brush in the can and just run it around there. Run it around there like that. It cleans it up. It scores the pipe a little bit. Eats a little bit of the pipe away. Alright, now I got that on there. Now, since I got interrupted right there, freaking, it's a matter of debate on whether or not you let the primer dry or not, but just get a little bit of your swab right here. I love that the brush is in the can on these. And then just go around it. Make sure you drop glue on everything that's below it. Make a gigantic mess, you know. It's my calling card there. And the amount of glue is, I don't think that was necessarily the right amount of glue. Just take a cap and pop it on there. Yeah, that was way too much glue. But let that sit for a little bit. And that's actually how, if you're ever ready to do a sprinkler or something, you need to glue it on. That's the way you do it. Anyhow, let's move on to the next part. Although when I was deciding on how I was going to wrap the rope around these conduit pieces, my dad gave me an excellent idea, which was just drill a hole through them. So since I have access to like 500 billion drills, I figured why not. And this electrical conduiting, I don't know if you can see, you're probably not going to be able to see it there, but it has little dimples on it because they have like little cast aluminum connectors that have little screws on them. So I'm just going to use that. And since my paracord, I couldn't figure out how to unravel it, so I got a mess now. I'd say that's maybe about 3/16 maybe. So I have another drill bit that's bigger than this, so this one, and so just drill the hole. Of course, you also might not have access to a drill, so this might not work. You might have to get creative. DIY. Drill the hole. There, something worked, right? Pilot holes are always the way to go. So are sharp drill bits. How about I slide this back to the table? Sorry for the pad camera video. Well, you get the point on that. Anyhow, next part I'm going to be pulling the tarp out and figuring, well actually I'm going to be figuring out how to attach the thing to the top of the car. So for some unknown reason, I thought bungee cords were going to work for this, and it turns out I'm wrong. So back to the hardware store. I'm off to Tractor Supply this time. Alright, so I got my tarp, and I got these little, that bungee cord thing came with these tarp tie downs. That'll come in handy here in a second. Alright, so I have this completed. I just figured I want to show you a few things since I didn't really have a plan drawn out for this other than just kind of a half-assed idea. When I got the little thing of bungee cords, they had these little tie-down things right here. I should have used them to put this up. It would have saved me a lot of time and effort. Because right here is where I tied the rope on here kind of poorly. I'm going to put the little end cap on here. I'm going to see if that'll actually roll up and fit in the pipe. I don't think it'll do it with the tarp, but I'm going to try anyway. But I could have cleaned up the little holes that I have these wrapped around. Since it's just my lawn, I just put the stakes in the ground. I just pushed these into the ground. They went in just fine. It rained pretty hard. Probably going to leave ruts in the lawn. But yeah, now going down to tent stakes, pulled out tight. All in all, I think this turned out just fine. It's a lot more pleasant than standing out in the sun. It's a little short. I mean, I'm 5'5" and I can hit the freaking top of this. But yeah, I mean, it pulled out. I mean, this was a little bit of trial and error, which is why I didn't film me putting it up, because you'd have just seen me saying the F word a lot and probably just speeding up the whole footage. It actually probably would have been entertaining. But I think that if you wanted to do something like this, I mean, if you had a roof rack bar that went straight across, unlike mine does, where I had to, the bungee cords didn't work, so I used these U-bolts right here. So that's on there pretty sturdy, but I'm gonna need to carry a wrench with me if I want to take that out with me. That ain't going anywhere though. But yeah, no, I mean, the wind's blowing a little bit. This is kind of nice. Could have been designed a little bit better, but if I had some of these, two more of these, I wouldn't have had to have ran the rope all the way down there. Of course, I really didn't have to anyway. I could have just tied a loop at the end of that and tightened it on there. Might do that after I'm done recording here, but all in all, I like the way that this turned out. I actually kind of wish I had a longer tarp, but at the same time, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry if the end right here seemed like it was pretty poorly done, but it's DIY. Never done a DIY video before. I figured this would be a good one. Thanks, airplanes. Yeah, that's what happens when I live near an airport. We'll get back in the shade, and yeah, no, I think when I go up the gorge, I think this is going to be a lifesaver, even though it's kind of hot under here right now, but better than standing in the sun. Of course, it's just the humidity coming off the grass, and this is actually really hot. Alright, so I hope you really enjoyed that video. I'm sorry I didn't show you putting it up, as I said before, of which I don't have a cameraman, so it's kind of hard to like figure out how to put something together and film at the same time, and I just kind of got frustrated and then just put it up and then showed you the end result. But yeah, no, if I would have had more of them type tar downs to put on the side, I could have just ran paracord off the end, getting little corners and down, and it would have been like 20 seconds to put it up. But however, I'm going to repeat myself again. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry about the little bit of the end part right there, what was kind of inconclusive. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more kind of content like this, or have an idea for a DIY project that you don't know what you'd want to do and you'd like to see what my ideas on that would be in like actually building them kind of things, questions, comments, any of that kind of stuff. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Loud techno music will play now, and I'm going to stop saying that.